All right, greetings and salutations, everybody out there in YouTube land. I'm your host once again, Dan Thornton. I want to thank you all for joining us here today on Lions Talk Live. I know there's a few people messaging me asking if the show is still going on today, and it is, but apparently there may be some problems locating it. I'm getting a few different comments from different people that are normal regulars on the show, and they're all saying they can't find the feed, they can't find this, that, the other thing. So I'm not sure what's going on. I've checked everything on my end, but it looks like we're up and running and showing. So I guess we'll have to see what shakes out. So anybody who can't find the show, I do apologize. I've looked into it as best I can. It looks like some people are finding it, some people are not, and I'm not really sure what the case for that is. So whatever it is what it is. And at this point, the show must go on. So any rate, with all that being said, if you haven't yet subscribed to Lions Talk Live, please consider doing so. Also, if you enjoy the content of the video, please hit that thumbs up button. Last but never least, if you're considering buying or selling property anywhere in the great state of Michigan, give me a call. Shoot me a text, 269-998-2384. Let me see if I can use over 30 years of experience in the industry to help save you some money, either on the purchase of a property or the sale of a property. All right. Welcome to Lions Talk Live. And, we're one day closer to free agency and obviously a little bit closer to the draft. Free agency is going to hit first. And I know a number of you guys have asked about Stiggers. So, hey, I told you I would try to get you some information on them. I know I've gone into them a little bit in depth in the last few days, a little bit here and there throughout the show. I think most of us know he was the CFL Defensive Rookie of the Year while playing for the Toronto Argonauts. He participated, I should say, in the Shrine Bowl in January and showed enough to merit a lot of teams wanting to see him in the NFL draft. He was not invited, though, to the 2024 NFL scouting combine. A little surprised by that, given all the praise around him and the, I guess, curiosity we could say around him. Real quick, though, I want to go to you guys. Are you guys able to see? Obviously, a number of you are in the chat, so people are saying, or obviously, you guys were able to find the channel and the video. Other people, though, are still commenting and sending me stuff saying, hey, they can't find it. So something's going on. Here, we're responding to one real quick. Sorry, guys. It just, a number of them have lit me up all morning just saying, hey, there's no show today. Is there a show today? So again, apologies. All right, before we go more into the analyzing Stiggers, let's see what you guys have to say. Trump, woo! There we go. First woo of the day. Trump, don't make this a no crybaby zone. Fair enough, but at the same time, be nice to other people. Live by the golden rule in life. Treat others the way you want to be treated. So go with that. All right. Yes. Let's not ruffle any feathers this morning. Myself, Trump. Okay. All right. Moonscar. Morning, Dan and Duke Crew. Tell me about Stiggers. What do you see? Also, can't wait for tonight's game. Hope to see the aggression on D that your team usually plays with. We're gonna go out there. I know we may be without our starting point guard tonight. She's been battling influenza or the flu for a few days, but we'll see if she's able to go or not. If not, like any other coach, you'll make adjustments and go after it. So we're going to unleash some threes and work on a few things to get ready for next week's postseason games. All right. Mike, what do you got? Howdy, Dan, Lions people. The resigning of Jaylen Reeves-Maybin should be a signal for future free agents that Detroit's special place of destiny. I would agree with that. Yeah, 100%. We talked about it a little bit in the video last night that, to me, the Detroit Lions are setting themselves up to be a real target for potential free agent signings, probably for the foreseeable future. You look at everything they've achieved in 3 years. Now you're rewarding the players who have grinded, the ones that have gone through the mud, the ones that have said, hey, we want to be a Detroit Lion. We want to be a part of this. And you know what? Jaylen Reeves-Maybin signing may not seem like the biggest one of all time. It's not. But the fact that guy is rewarded and he is Mr. Lion, I think that speaks volumes to the rest of the league. Bit Lady, good morning, Dan and Duke Crew. The extension of Jaylen Reeves-Maybin, Germ, is a decent move, even though he will be paid more than any core special team. But he showed linebacker skill improvement. 2, The 2-year deal is okay in your opinion. Yeah, and if you remember Bitlady, even before he left to go to Houston briefly, I just remember that year prior, he made a bunch of plays on defense. Specifically, I remember was it at Minnesota late in the game, Lions need to get a stop. He forced a fumble. I mean, the guy does have some defensive playmaking abilities. He's got some speed. He's got some tenacity. So to your point, yeah, he might not be the biggest defensive talked about signing ever player, I should say, player signing ever. But he's definitely out somebody who can be put out on the field and produce for this team. He really is somebody that's unique in his value proposition and the fact that he affects special teams. He is somebody who can definitely play, especially in coverage as a linebacker. And now you add the leadership, locker room abilities to him. Yeah, he's a nice signing, in my opinion, for sure. Hookadoo. Good morning, Coach and Duke crew. Back at you. Hopefully having a great morning, my friend. Moonscar. Jaylen Reeves-Maybin deal is fine. He adds a lot more than special teams play now. And with a huge increase in the same percentage to keep your number one special team player. Yeah, and again, you're also keeping a leader out there on that field. So, yeah, there's definitely, and I apologize, guys, if I'm a little distracted from time to time. There's as a YouTuber, you have your studio where you're able to go in and alter some stuff, fix some stuff, set the different settings on videos. And today's broadcast, which should be able for me to mess with in there, still is not showing up. So it's kind of weird that something clearly is going on with YouTube. And I don't know if it's on my end, their end, whatever it may be. But whatever it is right now, yeah, there's definitely some issues with YouTube. And apologies for anybody who's having difficulty locating the video. Yeah, on my end, it shows that it's not even happening or going on. And obviously, talking to you guys, and it is. All right, burger time. Good morning, Coach. Hope you are having a due day. Thank you for that. Woo! There you go. Bitlady, these CFL signings of $800K are okay. They can cut them in the worst case and limit impact. If they can coach them up, decent depth players initially until potential further growth, low risk, high reward. Yeah, and I think that's probably where the Lions and Brad Holmes are with things. There's no major investment in any of these guys if they get them. There's basically you're kicking the can, seeing what you can get, kicking the tires, or whatever you want to say. You're going out on a test ride with these guys, and if it ends up being the right fit, if you see enough potential there, then I think you're in a real good spot to keep going forward. All right, JDC, morning all. Morning to you too. Hopefully having a great one. Thaddeus, greetings and salutations all. Qwan'tez, QS, seems like he could be another Brad Holmes fine. Yeah, I think you're 100% right there. Stiggers is, someone that so when I watch him, and you guys know, you heard me talk about it, you pay attention to the measurables right off the bat. You got to make sure somebody's got enough of the base to work with that the rest of it matters. So he's got the, fairly ideal size at 6 foot. And I know some people have him at 6'1", 5'11", but we'll just say 6 foot. He's 200-ish pounds. And now you look at his speed. Now you look at his vertical. Now you look at his lateral quickness, his ability to get in and out of breaks. I know I talk about this a lot with receivers and cornerbacks, but when they go in and out of breaks or cuts, you want to see how quickly they can move and displace their energy or speed from going here to there. And a lot of times how that's taught to people is you want to combo it with your elbows and your knees so you can try to move that kinetic energy from one direction to the other. And you know what? He does a real good job with it. You watch him in cuts. I can't say if he's more of a zone or a man. Most of the time when I watch videos on him, he was in man-to-man. So I really don't have any business grading his zone abilities because it's basically not there in the videos I've watched the vast majority of the time. But at any rate, you got somebody who can cover. He's got speed. He's got size. And the dude can hit. I really like the way he launches himself into a lot of hits. He wraps up decent. Probably needs more improvement there. But I'm thinking if you're going to go for this guy, he's probably worth some sort of like Bitley was saying. He's probably low risk and a lot higher reward. Where you would get him, that's something to be debated. I haven't seen enough on him to give a fair grade. But there's enough there to be intriguing. I would say probably mid-round pick, upper round pick. Probably not going to make it to the real later rounds, the 5th, 6th, 7th. But, I've been wrong before. Maybe he does. I do like what I see. I just need to see more before I'd give any real official grade on him, at least in my eyes. All right, Moonscar. Every team will know about Stiggers now. We still have to draft him. Yeah, and just to me, if you're going to go for a Moonscar, it's going to come down to where you draft him at. So that will be the great debate. Dean, good morning, all. Great job resigning Jaylen Reeves-Maybin. Yeah, 100%. I think it was a no-brainer getting him in. It's a no-brainer making him a part of the team long-term. 2-year deal. Hey, given his age, given his placement in the team, that seems about right, and potentially resign him after that. See how he's holding up in 2 more years, because the NFL, as we all know, players, let alone teams, can change from season to season. 2 to 3 years out, that's kind of hard to predict, just because the wear on the body, especially for someone who's going to be in a high impact position. All right, Dale Greens, salutations, Duke crew. Will need to educate myself more on this cornerback. We know our scouts can find diamonds in the rough, though. Yeah, and that's one thing you'd say with the scouting department throughout this team and organization. These guys should have nothing but praise. And hey, whatever direction they want to go, that's probably the right direction, because these guys knock it out of the park. The fact that they're willing to look in all places for potential talent, for potential upgrades, that gives them a lot of credit. And I think it forces other teams to try to mirror and mimic the Lions in that regard. The Lions are doing a great job building this team, and they've done it radically fast. And I don't foresee that changing. I'll also throw this at you guys. And I was thinking about doing a little bit of a video on it later today. I don't really want to say it's breaking news, but the Lions are going to be one of the first teams that has just a scouting department assigned to the UFL. And maybe I should do a video just specifically on that. But that also goes to show that they're bringing in more personnel. Oh, gosh, what's her name? Hamp is allowing them to create just a department within the Detroit Lions organization just for that league. They want to try to make sure they're constantly looking for anything they can that's going to aid the Detroit Lions. And you could even see it in one of the Lions' new posts. I think it came out yesterday. They're looking for more basically summertime personnel to specifically assist the coaching staff when it comes to scouting the UFL and analytics pertaining to that. And they're most of the positions I saw or got notices on were just summertime interns, but they are paid. So the Lions are trying to grow their scouting department, their front office, to bring in more opportunities to find, as you're saying, Dale, diamonds in the rough. All right, probably went on too long about that. Sorry, guys. Jess, what do you got? What's happening with everyone? I like this kid coach. Seems like a great fit if we can get him. Yeah, and he does. He does. It just, to me, he seems like he's someone that, again, not to beat the dead horse, he's got the physical components. I don't think there's any doubt there. Now it's how quickly can he adapt to the NFL. We all get it's a little bit different from college to the NFL. Even if you were in a high-end D1 program, you're still probably going through a little bit of a growth curve with the move up to the NFL. And that's going to hold true basically if you go from the UFL, CFL, or wherever else you might come from. That's where you're going to have somebody who's got more eyes on the kid and be able to make a real strong, educated guess. Hey, we bring him in. He's probably here on the depth chart, but by, end of the season, year 2 or whatever, we foresee him moving up to here or there. All right, Michael, what do you got? Greens is saying, salutations, Coach and Duke crew, exclamation points. In my opinion, I was surprised by the contract that Germ got. Go Lions. Hey, I think it's a pretty commensurate deal for what he is. And he, like I already said in the show, he is a leader. He's someone that I think everybody on the team respects, and that's coaches, players, etc. Now you add in the fact that he's one less guy you got to worry about on special teams, because he's holding down the fort with what he does. Now you go over and add in the fact that he's also developed, especially in the last, we'll say 2 to 3 years, on the defensive side of things, where he can also play that side of the ball and plays it pretty well. When like in the NFC Championship game, when Derek Barnes goes down, he's hurt. I get Rodrigo gets in there, he gets the pick and everything, but Reeves-Maybin was out there, trying to take some snaps too, because he's able to help you out in that regard, especially in pass coverage. He's a pretty mobile and athletic guy who can hit. So good for him. I think it's a great signing personally and kind of low cost. I like the fact that Lions did him a solid by guaranteeing, I want to say it was like 5.25 million or something like that. So again, that kind of stuff spreads around potential free agents, guys who want to stay here, resign. This is definitely being built as a community, a family, whatever you want to say, that I think doesn't get lacked in knowledge and in people paying attention to how the Lions are treating their players. And that's a big change from the past. That's a big change from a lot, not every team in the NFL, but a lot of other teams. So you'll probably see more guys who say, hey, I'll go to Detroit, maybe take a little bit less because that's a more ideal situation for me to play in. All right, burger time. I was watching Stiggers highlights. He can play, but we all know the NFL game is much faster. I would agree with that. But I'd take a crack at him. It's low risk, high reward. Plus, Brad has a good eye for talent. I trust him. And yeah, we should all probably agree. Brad Holmes, I don't want to say he's ever without question, but he's definitely earned enough respect, I think, from all Lions fans and draft experts or whatever, that whatever the Lions choose to do in the draft, to some degree, you got to say, okay, that's probably going to make sense. Might not make sense now, sort of like last year when they traded from 6 to 12 and took Gibbs and then also took Laporta, even though I don't think too many people really had an issue with Laporta. I know there were a couple people on draft night saying, and I don't remember which kid it was right now, but why did they take Laporta? This guy was still available. He was the better tight end. And that's always going to happen. People are always going to debate every pick, but I think for the most part, to your point, Bergs, yeah, Brad Holmes, he's probably untouchable at this point. If he picks a punter in the first round, we're probably all going to go, man, I don't know about that, but you know what? He's probably got something there. There's probably a reason he's taking that punter. So you get my gist, though. Dale, Bet Lady, very well said. Thumbs up. Yeah, 100%. Bet Lady does a good job of things. All right, Trey, what's good all? Question mark. Agreed, Burger. NFL ain't no joke. Boys get left behind. This is a man's league. Maybe this guy can help us out if we get him. Yeah, and it's a great unknown because, we're not the only one evaluating talent, this kid or whatever. Other teams are paying attention to him. Other teams are going to put him through. They're going to do their due diligence and try to find, talent, especially if he's drawing praise from other people in the team, in the league, like the Detroit Lions. So whatever it is, you just have to believe that Brad Holmes is going to probably win far more than he's going to lose in the NFL draft. So go with that, trust in Brad, and we'll see where he takes us. But the kid is definitely, without a shadow of doubt, an intriguing possibility that could end up really benefiting the Detroit Lions if we can get him. Again, it's early, so I don't want to put a real grade on him. Hey, he's first round, second round grade. But I think he's probably closer, at least right now, to probably a low-end second to maybe a fourth round. I mean, somewhere in that range. All right, Hatman, good morning, Dan, the Duke Crew family. Finally able to be here live. Well, I'm glad you're back. Hopefully you're enjoying it. And thank you for being a part of the Lions Talk Live morning show, Duke Crew. So there you go, the Motor City Duke Crew. There you go. Hatman, I hope everyone has been enjoying this beautiful weather yesterday and today. Yeah, it was like almost, at least here in Southwest Michigan, when I left practice, it was almost 70 degrees. And, part of the reason why we cut practice a little short is you could just tell the kids were, hey, they're pumped, they're amped, they had a little bit more energy. They want to get outside, and, why not, man? Let them head on out. Eduardo, I've been waiting for this one. Yeah, all right, fair enough. Yeah. Let's have a day, people. Free agency 2 weeks away. It is, man. It's getting here real quick, and you know what? Yeah, you're going to start hearing more and more stories about, hey, this guy's going here, this guy's going there in the next week or so as in the national media pumps things up. So, hey, it's part of the fun, man. It's almost like getting ready for Christmas, right? Eduardo, Super Bowl #1 seed or bust. I'll go with that, and thank you for that. I think that's a good point. Eduardo, I really like what Brad has to say. Quote, free agency is for filling in the holes. Draft is for the best player available. Yeah, and I think that's pretty much his philosophy and has been throughout his tenure here in Detroit. Eduardo, excited to see the Brad Holmes masterclass. That's no lie there. I do wonder. So if Brad Holmes is going to use free agency basically to just kind of round out the team, which is what he's pretty much done in the past, who are the real possible signings? I mean, we all want to see Chris Jones come to Detroit. We want to see Danielle Hunter come to Detroit. I'm going to go on a wild limb and guess that most of us watching the show don't honestly think that's going to happen, though. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it does happen, but I don't anticipate that's the direction they're going to go. So who he picks up, whoever he picks up at whatever positions, it'll be intriguing to see who they are and what he pays for them. All right, Bit Lady, 2024 Super Bowl or bust. I'll go with that, and I think that's spot on. Michael, 100% praying for it, 1,000%. Eduardo, let's flip and go, Bit Lady. All right, fair enough. JDC, go Lions. All right, Moonscar. Stiggers could have at least seen a ton of reps in the CFL with all the passing they do. This is also true, and that is a great point. What have you seen as far as how the 1 yard off the ball affects quarterback play? Well, I mean, there will be some differences as you kind of just alluded to, because one, you have the rule changes up there. You have the field structure, which is a little different there. But so what I try to just pay attention to Moonscar is just the stuff that's going to translate from one league to the next. So in regards to what you're saying about the 1 yard, you're going to have less physical play at the line of scrimmage. They want more free releases. I mean, they want a more high octane, I guess you could say, offensive system in Canada. Kind of almost like if you remember the Arena League of when that was around. There are some similarities between the two. Now you look at how much wider the field is, how the cornerbacks have to react. So let's just focus on what will translate. And that, again, is can he read and react? Can he anticipate a route before it happens? Does he respond well when he's caught off guard and the receiver breaks, left or right where he didn't anticipate? How quickly he can recover out of that break. Those are the things or the items to me that I want to pay attention to and really try to make sure that we got something there. That's where I say the kid looks pretty good. I'm not going to say he's Sauce Gardner. I'm not going to say anything like that. I think, for where you're potentially going to draft him, I think that's he's got some real good upside. And, he's only, I want to say 22 years old. Don't hold me to that, but that sounds right off the top of my head. So his upside is fairly decent. I'm not going to say it's off the charts, but I think he could be somebody who's pretty decent for whatever team selects him. Matthew, greetings and salutations. Good morning, everyone. Back at you. Hopefully, have a great one. Hatman, hey, what division is your team in? Question mark. My local school girls basketball team is doing awesome. They just won the conference and only 2 losses this year. We're Division 2. We're lower end Division 2, and it's so real quick. Just I don't know what you guys do or don't know. So the first round of the MHSAA playoffs is the districts. We were the number 2 seed by a narrow thread. We finished, we have 2 games left, but when they, do the grading or the placements, the seeding, I should say, for the districts, when that came to a close Saturday night, we were 18-2. The number 1 seed is 17-2. We played them twice in the regular season. We won at our place by 10. We lost at their place by 5. So it should be, we're hoping that we win our first game, just like I'm sure they're hoping they win their first game. And that would put both of these teams in the district championship game a week from Friday. So it'd probably be a pretty good game if it happens to work out that way. All right, Detroit D, greetings and salutations. Back at you. Hopefully you have a good morning. Dale, regarding Jaylen Reeves-Maybin, he's definitely a Lion all the way. I would agree with that. Grit personified. Total ball player. We reward our own players nicely in free agency. And I do believe that is one of the things this regime is really definitely focused on. You come here in Detroit, whether it's draft or free agency, you're one of our guys. When the time comes, we are going to take care of you. We're going to make sure you want to remain a Lion. And, at least for most people, obviously you can't make everybody happy. You can't re-sign every player. But you know what? I think they are setting a standard, which is going to be resonate throughout the rest of the NFL. And you're going to see a lot of guys take notice of the Detroit Lions. And if they can get an opportunity to sign here, you'll see probably some people jump ship to the Detroit Lions that may not have otherwise. Eduardo, would you prefer Warm or Reader? Both coming off injuries. Both can be forces in the middle. If it's me, it's Reader. Yeah. If you're asking for my opinion. So there you go. Let me know what you think on that. Donkey Kong Super Bowl or bust. I'll go with that. And thank you for showing up this morning. Glad you could find it. I know I'm still getting messages on my phone that some people can't find the feed, and it finally did pop up in the YouTube Studio Creator, but for whatever reason, yeah, it wouldn't for the first like 10, 15 minutes of the show. And I know a lot of people are just, still, like I said, message me saying they can't find the stream. So something's going on with YouTube today, guys. And that's beyond my ability to control. All right. Eduardo, tell him Donkey Kong. Fair enough. 100%. Rich, you're on. I am on. Yes. And hopefully you're on too. And hopefully you're having a Mountain Dew and a great morning. Burger time. I was lost, but it came up now. Yeah, and I'm not sure what's going on. It's something I'm assuming on their end, but yeah, a lot of people are messaging me that I guess they still can't find it. Anthony, I found you. Good morning, Duke Crew, Super Bowl or bust. Yeah, and it just sounds like maybe there's a hiccup in YouTube where, yeah, something's not posting fast enough. And apologies, guys. I got it up, I want to say about 15 minutes before 7, and I kept trying to find it in the studio and just couldn't find it. And it didn't. It took about a half hour for it to finally show up on my end. So apologies. Mike, up and running. That's good. Just got alert. Fair enough. 9 drinks. All right. So yeah, something's causing a delay today. Hey, man. Come on, family, hit that like button. Yeah, I totally can't tell what it's at on my end, but if you guys would, if you haven't yet subscribed to Lions Talk Live, please consider doing so. We're about 60 subs away from hitting 6,000. Huge milestone. So if you're able to do it and you're able to subscribe, please do, and also hit that thumbs up thingy. All right, Detroit D. Houston reminds me of Doomerville. Undersized, not as good against the run, but he could get after the quarterback. That's a real good comparison there. Elvis Doomerville, yeah, he was a monster getting after quarterbacks, and he was, like you're pointing out, a little bit undersized. I personally, selfishly, want James Houston to be the starting outside linebacker, or excuse me, end outside of or opposite of Aiden Hutchinson, just because I think he is so good at one specific side of the equation. It's just hard to replicate. The opposite side, also, like D points out, he's not great against the run. But to me, if you pair him up with the right other 3 defensive linemen and the linebackers over the top of him or behind him, I think you can minimize him in the running game a little bit. You're still going to have to coach him up. You're still going to have to beef him up. But to me, we're all talking about getting somebody who can get to the quarterback, opposite of Aiden Hutchinson, really displace a passing game, really change, game changer. And that's what he is. But he does have some weaknesses or downsides to him. And I just think, man, for me, the temptation to have that kid out there for a full season going after the other quarterbacks at what he can do, he just causes a matchup problem, especially when you're talking about mobile quarterbacks, because he would help mitigate that exponentially, I feel. Of course, I don't see him on the field every day. I'm just probably a homer who just thinks the guy's all that, when maybe I'm superseding the reality a little bit. Man Bear, good morning all. Good morning to you, Man Bear. Hopefully having a great one. JDC, Magic 8 Ball says, without a doubt, you are live. I'm glad it's finally popping up for people. All right, Duncan, Brad will have another signing today if one of our guys. Yeah, hopefully he does, man. And like I said, I'll try to do a little bit of a video later today about the news I got. It's not breaking news, not earth-shattering, but I do think it is noteworthy that the Lions are setting a group of scouts and a department within their organization specifically just to monitor the UFL. As far as I'm aware, at least, they will be the first and only team in the NFL that has a department specifically assigned to them. We all get the scouting department. You have 2 cores to it. You have one core that focuses just on the college draft or college players. You have another one, a very minimal one, but you do have a scouting department within the organization, like you do with every NFL team that just watches other teams' players. So if player A gets cut or is on the practice squad and they think they can, you got real value here, you go after them. The fact that Ford Hamp is allowing the Lions to, assign 3 or 4 people just to monitor the UFL, I mean, that's kudos. That's her doing a little bit more to try to help her team achieve more. All right, Eduardo, what do you got? Question for you. If you are drafting best player available and both your top-rated players are there at your pick on each side of the ball, how do you know what to pick? Well, I mean, I guess that's where you're trusting your grades on those players. So in your scenario, let's just say your two best draft board or grocery list players are there. Which one had the higher grade? Which one is going to be harder to replicate in the next pick that you have? So what do I mean by that? Let's just say offensive line and defensive line. We'll just keep it at that. Let's say your defensive lineman had a 89. Your offensive lineman had a 87 grade. But if you look at the next draft, so let's just say it's first round, now we're looking at second round, your projections are that the defensive line, the next player available to you at that second round pick is going to be 75. I mean, that's a pretty good drop. But the next player at the offensive line is going to be projected at a 84. Well, that's a very minimal drop. I mean, it is a drop, and there's a difference there. But I would say in that scenario, you're drafting the defensive end, and then round 2, you're picking up the offensive lineman. Hopefully that helps as far as an explanation. All right, Big D, they already know who and what they are going to do or attempt to do. I believe they will corner in draft and DL in draft. All right, yeah, I would agree with that. Anything to do with the defense, I think they're going to try to beef up, whether it's free agency in the draft, but 100% there. Didn't see it this morning until Detroit D until 7 a.m. Yeah, and again, apologies, guys. It's nothing I can do about it. It just, for whatever reason, YouTube just this morning, it just was a little wonky or funky, whatever you want to say, but it's clearly in the studio now. And I was worried when I first posted it if anybody was seeing the stream. And fortunately, when I went back to the comment section, I started seeing, a couple of you guys put comments. I was like, well, we must be up and running because people are commenting, but yet I couldn't find it anywhere on my end. So I have no idea what was happening. Ed, good morning, Coach and Duke crew. I'm so excited for the Lions fans. Brad is setting the table for free agency. The more he takes care of players, the better we will see his plan. Yeah, and I think, I get it. We've already talked about in the show, but I think, Ed, I'll put it this way. There's nobody who's on the Detroit Lions that if you've played here, I get the sense that if you want to remain, you don't have that opportunity. Josh Reynolds, I know there's a lot of speculation going around that he's going to leave the Detroit Lions, but I don't believe it's because he feels like he's not wanted here. I'm guessing it's just because he wants, a chance for a little bit more money. Maybe he wants a different location. Maybe Team B is saying, hey, you come here. You're not the number 3 or 4 receiver. You're going to be the number 2 or 3 receiver or something, something along those lines. And, hey, sometimes some people just want to go try something new. Nothing wrong with that at all. But to your point, Ed, yeah, the Lions are taking care of their own, and that is going to resonate throughout the current regime of players, plus anybody they bring in. All right, Don Kong, Eduardo, I'm guessing they're kind of flip a coin. Yeah, it could be that too, man. It could be that easy. Eduardo, Detroit D, what's up? All right. Michael, I had to go to my subscription to find the thumbnail. Yeah, and I don't know. Hopefully it's not like that tomorrow. Hopefully. Big D, DL in the draft corner free agent. There you go. And that might be the way they go. JDC, someone throw out the rope of destiny to the lost souls. There you go. Yeah, apologies, guys, man. I feel bad that there's a problem, but I'm just not sure how to correct it. And, really already halfway through the shows at this point. So, mile marker, good morning. Just got here. School bus running late. Well, hopefully you didn't miss too much, Miles, and glad you were able to find the show today. Ed, what do you got? Nobody knows what Brad will do next, so let's just enjoy and learn. Yeah, 100% with that. 100%. He's good at keeping all the cards close to his chest. He doesn't want anybody to know ahead of time. Eduardo, honestly, Big D, I would like to see us draft a corner. They usually take 2 to 4 years to develop. Want to start the clock now. And I'm guessing we probably will. And maybe Stiggers or whatever is the guy we go after. That part we're all going to speculate on. But in your point, Eduardo, they do typically take a few seasons to grow and develop. And I don't think that's going to be different with whoever you end up getting. Is there potential, I think, in the draft that some of the more premium corners slide down to us? Yeah. Is it going to be the number 1 or 2 or 3 guy? Probably not. But that next level of corner, I think there is some possibility they could make it, especially if the run on quarterbacks is as strong as most are anticipating at the start of the draft, because that's going to force people down more and more. So we'll see. Yeah, man. Sorry, Dan. I'm in the Mortley Stanwood School. All right, all right, all right. Yeah, Paw here. So, yeah, and I don't know all the teams as well as I used to. Like, so, just real quick, for years I ran a developmental program called the Kalamazoo Heat, and AAU, if you guys know what it is. And we would work with players anywhere from 8 years old to 18, sometimes 19, trying to get them marketed to colleges. And that's basically what led me into becoming a general manager and then a scout. Is that you do something long enough, people figure out if you can evaluate talent and then develop talent. So, used to go over to the Detroit side of the state, Flint side of the state, Upper Peninsula, all over, picking up players, working with them, and then coaching them up. So, more, yeah, I know where you're at. All right, I guess I could have just said that. Brother Ken, good morning, Coach Dan and fam. Greetings from the Mile High City. Well, hopefully you're having a good one. And Ken, what's the weather gonna? What's that weather like this time of the year out there? I gotta imagine it's pretty decent, but I don't know. All right, Eduardo. Let's see. Crazy that Brad hasn't drafted a corner in 3 years. If he doesn't count. All right, yeah, because if he was brought in and then moved to safety. You could say, Eduardo, that Branch is a corner. I mean, he's playing the slot. He's playing slot corner. So him and Iffy. But I would also point out you guys to this. I think there is a bigger move if you pay attention to the NFL as a whole. I get we all want better corners in Detroit, but look at a lot of teams who made it to the final 8 teams or so in the league this year. San Francisco does not have great corners. Detroit does not have great corners. Kansas City, I think I wouldn't call any of them great. Obviously, you guys know that Snead, I think, is a pretty dang good one, but I wouldn't call him elite. So my point being this, it does seem like there is a massive shortage of great corners in the league, just like we could say there's a massive shortage of great quarterbacks as well. I think it's probably more reasonable to expect that you got to be great on defense. When I was doing this video on Stiggers and paying attention throughout the season to other teams, very, very few teams have a real lockdown corner. You have got a lot of teams with some decent corners, but there's just the Lions might be in a real situation where if I'm seeing that, and I'm guessing you guys are seeing it too, there might be a possibility that Brad Holmes just says we need to be great up front and then just, average, above average at the cornerback spot, because the realistic expectation of us getting a quote unquote great corner is probably pretty minimal. And from what I'm seeing in free agency, there's some good corners. There's not great corners in the draft, at least unless we really hit on a diamond in the rough that everybody else misses. We're probably not getting a great corner or someone who has the potential to be great. We've probably got more or a better opportunity to get somebody who has the potential to be really good. So let me know your guys' thoughts on it. But the more I looked around this season and getting ready for the draft and free agency, I think you're seeing more and more of that from teams than you are great corners. All right, Chad, what do you got? Anyone else feel like Caleb Williams has a high chance to be a bust? Question mark. Feel like the Bears will go through Lions level though. I would put it this way, man. There's a chance for everybody to be a bust, especially at the quarterback spot in the NFL. Is his window any higher than anybody else's? I don't know, man. It's crazy looking back in the NFL and remembering there are people that wanted Ryan Leaf over Peyton Manning, and that just shows you, scouting the draft, it's an inexact science. And the one thing I would say to anybody, and this is just me, from someone who's reported and watched it forever, I'd be terrified if I had the number 1 pick or number 10 pick or whatever in the top 10 of taking a quarterback. Because in today's NFL, there's so much pressure on playing that kid right away. And I think that's a disservice to the athlete. To me, it's a better chance or far better chance of having a successful return on your investment if you draft someone in the latter part of the first round, second round, etc., because that player doesn't have nearly the heat on them to start right away. Let that person sit and groom. Look at Green Bay, and I've talked about this before, but their formula for developing quarterbacks is what the NFL normal was in the 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, early 80s, probably up until about the mid 90s, early 90s, somewhere in that range. And quarterbacks used to produce at a far better rate than they do now. But now you're forcing kids to go out there that can't do the pre-snap reads more often than not, or post-snap reads. That's probably, to me, the bigger one. and they just end up getting shell shock or whatever you want to call it, PTSD, because everything happens so fast for those guys. And if you're not right, you're getting leveled physically, mentally, you're getting abused from your team, maybe not your teammates, but the fans of your team, plus across the media. And to me, they move on from that player so fast. But I'm going on too long about this, but you guys know my thoughts. And as far as the Bears and Caleb Williams, I think if you develop him right, he could be something. But therein lies the problem. Are they going to spend a year or two developing him, or are they going to force him out there right away? That's probably more likely that he'll be forced out there right away. Eduardo, what is the with that defense, will they be a problem at Chad? If they have even the 20th ranked, they will be contend for playoffs. They will contend for playoffs. Okay, we'll go with that. Silver, good morning, coach and all. I saw Stiggers in brief highlights, not enough to see how good he is staying with a receiver. Willing tackler, yeah, I agree with that part, yeah. But like a linebacker, moves like one also. He has got a chance with the Lions. He does if it all pans out. Yeah, 100%. Chad, showing the league you're re-signing your own that ball out on all levels. Good trend to start here. Yeah, and I agree with you. I think you want to establish the norms here, the expectations for anybody who potentially comes on into Detroit. Eduardo, a top 10 defense can go a long way. I hope Brad can build us a top 10 D. I think we're pretty close, but we're probably, in my opinion, about 3 players away from really being able to push towards the level you're saying there, Eduardo. Now, to me, you got to get one more interior defensive line, one more pass rusher, specialist, whatever you want to say, defensive end, and then one more player as far as a cornerback in the secondary. Linebackers, I think we can live with. Half the defensive line, I think we can live with. The safeties, I think we can live with. It's just going to come down to a little bit more with the rest of the spots. And whether or not that opposite end is James Houston or whatever, somebody else can debate at this point. But I think you get those 3 spots, you've got a real good chance to be, like you're alluding to, Eduardo, a near top 10 defense. All right, Ed, okay, so what will Brad do this week? Who will be the next signing? That's a great question, and one I can't answer. I'm hoping it's St. Brown. I just don't know if that's ready to happen just yet. Brother Ken, let's get real. Brad Holmes is a savant, yeah, with the draft. However, if we're 2 to 3 players from taking the Lombardi, let's go after some studs in free agency. Yeah, and you've watched the show for forever, man, and I think you're spot on. I really wish last year we would have went after and got Montez Sweat. I get why we ultimately didn't, because the only way to leapfrog the Bears offer would have been to give up your first. And Brad Holmes clearly didn't want to do that. And plus maybe the salary that you knew you were going to have to sign him for. I don't know, but it would have been real nice to get him. Would that have put us in the Super Bowl? Who knows? Probably not, but you never know. It might have. You got a window of opportunity here. I'm not Brad Holmes. He crushes it in the draft. I'm, stupid aggressive all the time, and that probably is a fault of mine at times. But to what you're saying, Ken, yeah, I'd be all after probably 2 very targeted players, one in the secondary, one in the defensive line, and go from there. Trump, yeah, just win, baby. Jason, love the signing. Just way too much money. All right, go with that. But I like the fact he's going to be a Lion for the next few years. Eduardo, Lions 13-4 next year. Book it. It will be booked. 13-4. We'll go with that. You know what? That probably gets you an opportunity at the number 1 seed. Charles, your thumbnail didn't show up, but I had to go to my subscription menu to find it. Yeah, I'm not sure what happened, man. But again, guys, I don't know if it's something to do on YouTube's channel or back end or whatever. But a lot of people are reporting that it just didn't pop up today. It obviously did for some people, but not others. Some people were in the chat just like normal right away. Other people were blowing up my phone saying, "Hey, can't find it. Are you doing a show today?" And all I can do is apologize, guys. I did everything on my end to try to get it out there. I'm just not sure what the hiccup was. All right, Jason, should have been more like $4 million over 2 years. All right, fair enough. Jason should have been, yeah, okay. Big D, giving him that kind of money makes me wonder how they're going to do with everybody else. They definitely took care of him 100%. But the other part of it is, maybe that's also an indication he's going to be more used next year than what we're all anticipating. Just food for thought. All right, Charles, it didn't show up as a Lions search either. I don't know. I mean, again, I don't know what happened with YouTube this morning. All right, Eduardo. Well, he earned it. But thanks for that, Charles, by the way, for that information. When the defense needed a spark, he's the only one to close in on Fields all year. Yeah, him. I mean, having him along with Houston and whoever else they're going to bring in, maybe they are trying to get more athleticism up front, which I think would not be a bad move. Chad, probably on YouTube's end, too many South JWs working there. Fair enough. I'm not sure what that is, but I'll go with that. Robert, woo! There you go. Hookadoo, sounds like somebody has hacked your okay, fair enough. Hopefully nobody's hacked it. All right, brother Ken, 65 to 70 million cap space. Seriously, let's get at least one proven star in free agency. Yeah, and Ken, if you had to have your druthers, who would you go after? I know who I'd go after, Hunter, but we'll see. Hookadoo, I hacked your show. Let's hope not. Brent Ryan singled out Stigers and his amazing journey about a month ago on their college football podcast of Roar of the Lions UK. Him and Anthony Fitzpatrick do a great job. Yeah, they do a very good job, and give them some kudos and praise. There are some really good podcasters, YouTubers, whatever you want to call them out there. I've found a few. I've had a chance to talk with you. I know I don't know if a lot of you guys know Luke G and his film review. We're trying to work out something where we can do maybe a couple of shows together because I think he does a really good job with stuff. And there's a couple other people I've reached out to try to do some interactive stuff. I've tried to reach out to some YouTubers from the Vikings, Bears, Green Bay Packers, just because I think when we get closer to those games, having some interactive shows with other fan bases, what are your guys' thoughts on the Detroit Lions? What do you guys see as our strengths and weaknesses, and vice versa? I think that would add something to it. All right, Eduardo, if we get a man-to-man corner, we can run man zone splits, give help to Sutton, have the other corner on an island, and still send blitzes. Yeah, I think ultimately that would be, or something along those lines would be what's best for the Lions and Aaron Glenn. I think he really prefers to be a more aggressive defensive coordinator. You look at that, not this past season, but the year before that when he finished 9-7, and this past year when he finally said, skip it, we're just going after people. But you're going to need to definitely mask some of your defensive principles a little bit more. You could see as the season went on with it, we became a little bit more predictable. Teams game plan for it a little bit more. So now you need some counter punches. Trumps, how come we signed the defensive end from CFL, but this cornerback we're going to have to draft? That's just because of how he got into the CFL. The fact that the Betts already went through the NFL draft. That's why you could sign him, because he was cut by, who was it? Chicago, the Bears. I think he made it to, I want to say their last round of cuts before he was released. So he was nearly on their active roster. So where that wasn't the case was Stiggers there, Trump. Dale, Brent, great info, bud. We'll check that out. Fair enough. Charles, Dan was hacked by the cyber god, the Mellow Yellow fellow. That could be what happened. Yeah, Mellow Yellow's a little upset with my promotion of Mountain Dew, so maybe they're coming at me. Fair point. All right, Moonscar, another YouTuber said the other day that his subscription notifications were turned off by YouTube. Check your sub notification, folks. Probably something on an app updating going on. Yeah, it could be something as simple as that. I'm not really sure what it is, but I'll look into it a little bit today. It's a later work day for me today than it was yesterday. Eduardo, I'd rather have 2 to 3 above average pass rushers with Hutch than just one superstar next to Hutch. Bring in Huff and Van Ginkel. There you go. There. All right. That's an idea. Big D, Eduardo, great call. 1,000%. Yeah. JDC, Charles Davis, duly noted. Very good. Hookadoo. Woodward Sports got bashed pretty hard on our show the other day. Smoking Gun. I've got nothing against them. It seems like they're, from what I'm getting from you guys and then from just my own observations, their midday shows and the early afternoon shows seem to do far better than their morning shows. And they seem to be running through morning show people left and right. And I'm not sure why. So I don't know the organization. I don't know the ownership. I know some of you guys had some speculations on things, but what I will say is I don't see you guys or other shows talking about Woodward Sports as much as they used to. So maybe they've fallen out of favor with some of the viewing audience, I guess. Mike the Marine, what do you got? Stiggers will be on undrafted, but signed with Detroit because we showed first interest. That's loyalty. Yeah, it could be. Like I said, right now, with the limited scouting I did on him, I could see him going somewhere from like third or fourth round, somewhere in that range, maybe the fifth round. But there is a possibility, 100%, that maybe he does not get drafted. When he does, then you know what? The kid's probably going to take whatever is the best spot for him. Eduardo got to take a page from the 2022 Eagles. They had like 5 players plus 5 players, 10 plus sacks. The more players that can rush the passer, the better. Yeah, you keep fresh bodies going after them, you can have a cumulative effect. Where I know we talked about it throughout the season last year. To me, until you got to about 2 months left or somewhere right around there left in the season, it felt like you really see Aiden Hutchinson declining. He just looked worn out, tired, lost a lot of flexibility. He just looked like he'd been grinded down to the nub. And that's when they were playing him 90, 95% of the snaps. And to me, that's just egregiously high for a defensive line player. I mean, they're going to wear down, and thankfully he didn't get hurt. When they start dropping him down to like 70% of the snaps the last 2 months of the season, that's where you saw him kind of revitalize himself, get after things. And I get they played him more almost out of necessity, but sometimes as a coach, you've got to say, even though I need this player out there, I still got to look out, not just for this game, but for future games. And I'm glad they got that figured out because, man, he had one heck of a close to his sophomore year. Eduardo, this offseason is make or break for Brad and AG fixing the defense, get into the top 10 scoring. Okay, fair enough. Ed, I personally feel that Brad overwhelmingly succeeded this past season with drafts. I'm afraid if any of his picks don't pan out this season, the Boo Brads will continue me back. Yeah, and come back. I see where you're going with that, Ed. Hey, it's nature of the beast, man. You're the prodigal son one moment. You're kicking cans on the curb the next moment. That's just part of pro sports. It's part of the fandoms. People turn on people real quick. Everybody in the nation was a Lions fan, I think, entering the playoffs last year, unless you were on the team, you were a fan of the team we were facing. But next year, if we start winning too much, you know what? People are going to turn on you because they're tired of hearing about you. And that's reality. All right. Eduardo, Sheila is putting in the money to make sure she gets the Lombardi. Yeah, she has a vested, I think you're spot on. She has a vested interest in seeing this team succeed. Maya, what do you got? UFL Homes must be pleased about that. More options and info. Yeah, 100%. And you're going to see some guys there are lower level NFL players when the season ends and they're not under contract. They're going to join the NFL to just trying to get, the UFL, just to get more reps, more opportunities, an opportunity to stand out, make a couple plays that maybe catches some NFL teams' eyes. It is just, kudos for them. It's another opportunity for more and more unknown players to be seen. All right, Chad, Woodward Sports has gone down the crapper since they got rid of Adam and now Jeff. Yeah, I was surprised they got rid of those guys, even though, I didn't watch them a lot. They weren't my real forte. Adam, I liked until he started just F-bombing left and right. And then that, at least for me, that wasn't so great. Jeff, I'm going to guess he's getting started in the news media industry. But, hey, everybody's got to start somewhere. And I hope they both end up doing very well and getting new gigs somewhere. I'm surprised I haven't seen them somewhere else, but maybe I'm just not looking in the right places either. All right. Joseph, good morning, Coach Duke Crew, ! It's a great day to be a Lions fan. Woo! Back at you. Hopefully you're having a great day, my friend. Detroit D, he's a all-pro special teamers, ace, and coverage linebacker. Yeah, I've got no problem with Jaylen Reeves-Maybin whatsoever. Ed W, let's see, AG has had a new coordinator every season. Is there something to that? I'll put it this way. He's clearly not been happy with either the people in the last 2 seasons that he's assigned to cornerback responsibilities as far as developing them. Aubrey Pleasant, maybe he was a scapegoat. I don't know. Yeah, obviously the Green Bay Packers picked him up lightning fast. Bly, it depends on who you listen to. I've heard some commentators say they thought he got a raw deal. I've heard other people in the coaching community say that he's got to learn the difference between being a coach and a friend. And not that to a certain degree he can't be both, but let me tell you, it's one of the harder things as coaches. I don't care if you're coaching guys, girls, 35-year-olds, 15-year-olds. You're going to develop, a friendship with them, but you also got to be able to separate and be a coach and make hard choices that is going to upset that friendom, that relationship that you have there, because you got to make the best choices for the team, not an individual, and that could be where Bly kind of struggled both in college and now in the pros with it. He gets that down, he's probably going to be okay, but it is a hard lesson for a lot of coaches to learn. And not one that's always emotionally easy on you either. Charles, I wonder if the salary cap goes up, does the league minimum wage go up too? It will over time, 100%. Yeah, as far as your vested veteran minimums, yeah. Joseph, so what is that one about? Is that about reality development? That one about is you mean my other channel? If it is, then the Realtor Man Dan. I do stuff on there, or I will be doing stuff on there, just for real estate. Anybody who wants to get into the game, or if you're looking to buy a house and stuff like that, maybe there's things you don't know to ask, which I find with a lot of people when they're first time buyers, they don't know the questions to ask somebody. So just try to help people out, basically. All right. Is that still you? Glad Jaylen Reeves-Maybin returned. Really glad he's staying. Guy is multi-level thinker and doer. Yes, and he's a leader too. He's got the respect of everybody on the team. That's why one among other reasons why I was really happy to see him return. Gary, good morning. Go Lions. Back at you, Gary. Silver Server. Wish Lions find another London Fletcher. That man was a brick, 5'8", but the linebacker was built like a stone. Do you remember him? I do. I do remember. I remember Chris Berman, London Fletcher's falling down. I think he played well after 35 at top level. Peace. Yeah, he was. He's not the only guy to have done it that size, but there are not many that do it. And yeah, Fletcher was a good one. Joseph, glad we were signed Reeves-Maybin, because what I saw last year of him, he really grew a lot and was a real team player, 100%. If we had a whole team of him, we would have a dynasty. Yeah, he plays with reckless abandon, and he just seems like an outstanding dude to be around. Someone who's just not a problem, which the Lions really, and I know we've talked about a lot, they really do a great job of drafting the right personality traits, in my opinion. These guys are all in it together. They're in it to win it. They're here to support each other. There are no distractions, or at least incredibly few of them. All right, Joseph, love the way he hits. Yeah, he hits hard. He does. 144, he looks more like a safety, big safety, but yeah, you're right. Joseph, he makes sure when he does hit or tackle, it doesn't get missed. He gets counted for a tackle. That's what's great about him too. Yeah, when he hits you, he wraps you up, man. Detroit D, the next Ray guy. All right, fair enough. I'll go with that, man. All right, Doug, there are players, i.e. Branch and St. Brown, who have, quote, it. If you can find those players, you look at them very closely and gamble. We need choices specifically later on, what we trade for down for a fourth. Yeah. And again, the Lions front office, the scouting department, Brad Holmes, whoever you want to throw the credit at, they do a real good job of identifying the personality traits that are more likely to be successful in the league. So I think more teams are probably starting to do that. And I know I've talked about it before on the show. Overseas markets, they've done that stuff for over a decade and a half that I'm aware of, and they are incredibly invested into that. Some of that is cultural, the different markets you work in and overseas markets. They need to know that who you are as a person is more impactful to them. They're not going to put you on that sideline, whether it's for this sport or that sport. They pay a lot of attention to that. And I do think you're seeing more evidence of that, both in Major League Baseball, NFL, NBA, that you see more teams gravitating towards that. All right, Chad, you think other GMs wish they could get a little look at Brad Holmes' draft board? Sure. And yeah, they're always wanting to try to spy on each other. That's why you see so much security put on that stuff, because a little information getting out can reveal a whole lot. Ed, I haven't seen any O-line free agents this year. Does that put us in a trade situation to acquire another one? We seem to always have multiple injuries there. We do, and it's just part of that, in my opinion, is the offensive line, man. Other than, I mean, there's just very few positions that are out there all the time. And you think about it, defensive linemen get rotated, linebackers get rotated, cornerbacks, receivers, running backs, defensive linemen, they're the one impact position that if they're healthy, they're out there 100% of the time. And that's why I do like what New England did years ago, where every drive they rotated one offensive lineman out for that drive, just to try to, over the course of the season, take a lot more wear off them. It's something I'm surprised hasn't caught on in the NFL, but that also means you have to have trust that your depth at the offensive line is pretty sound. All right, Detroit D. Hey, Coach, let's do that chat submitted mock draft. Let's see what kind of GMs we have in the chat using the simulator. All right, yeah, if you guys want, I'll pick a day this week, and yeah, we'll do mock draft 3.0. We'll do it on the live show. You guys, if you've seen it before, which I'm thinking most of you have, pick comes up. We'll be offering some trades. We'll be offering some selections. You guys all go ahead and jump on in and see what you want to say. You guys let me know, though, real quick before I get off there. Do you want to do that on like a Sunday, maybe? Would that be a good day for you guys, or a Saturday? Go ahead and real quick, before I end the show, throw it in the comments section. Just give you guys a second or two here. Or if it doesn't matter to you guys, don't worry about it. Yeah, just go ahead and let me know, and I'll check it out later. But yeah, it's been over an hour now, guys, so I'm going to go ahead and get off the air. Real quick though, greetings from Las Vegas. Yes, I'm up. No, okay. Here we go. You're lame if you haven't hit the thumbs up button. I like that one, and thanks for that, man. So hit that thumbs up button, or you're lame. But let me know what day this weekend you guys want to run the mock draft 3.0. Let's see, we got a couple here: Sunday, Saturday, Sunday. So go ahead and leave a comment on it. I'll try to do it on a weekend. I figure that will work best for most people. But yeah, we'll have a little bit of fun on it Sunday. All right, sounds like Sunday's the prime day for everybody. All right, I hope you all have a great day. If there is some breaking news later today, I'll try to get on the mic as quick as possible. If you haven't yet subscribed to Lions Talk Live, please consider doing so. We're about 60 subs away from 6,000. Also, if you would be so kind, hit the thumbs up button. Otherwise, take care. Enjoy your days. Go have a Mountain Dew, and we'll see you all in the next Lions Talk Live. See you guys.